Hi, my name is Colin Hill and welcome to Ullswater Swim Place. This is where I do a lot of my coaching, both in the endless pool and also in the open water. Now I'm going to look at a video where we're going to see two of the world's best swimmers, literally Florian Wellbrock from Germany, who just broke the 1500 meter world record. So literally the fastest long distance swimmer at the moment. And he is swimming alongside Ferry Weertman, who was the Olympic, world and European 10 kilometer champion. So again, two incredible swimmers. And the interesting thing is here, they're going in for the finish line. It was in Glasgow where I was working. I was in charge, I was the technical manager of the event there. And they're going into the finish line, side by side, sprinting it out, battling it out. And what is interesting is, although they're sprinting at an incredible pace, going into the finish, you can see their stroke is staying long. So let's have a quick look at that now. Looking down the right-hand side, you see GE on the hat. That is Florian. And on the left-hand side, the Netherlands hat, number 6, we've got Ferry Weertman. So let's just play this through. It's not the best quality, but you should be able to see here. Now look on the left-hand side of Ferry here, and just watch the takeover. So he is sprinting flat out here. Now Ferry, incredibly strong. You can see the changeover point for the hands. He's breathing to the side now, and he's got his arm out in front. His head is rotating. He's looking across at Florian there, and just the same, Florian, he's got his head, his arm is straight out as he has that breath. So that arm hasn't dropped down as they breathe, and then the other hand comes across and switches over. Now Florian's got a slightly faster stroke rate. Ferry's known for having quite a slow, powerful stroke rate. But you can still see their hands are out in front, and then the other hand comes in, and they push that hand forwards. And then you can see this other hand coming. So it really is, let's just play through, a catch-up style stroke there. Really leaving that one hand out in front to really get the power. So let's just go back again, have another look at that. We'll just play it straight through and just to really come to the finish straight. So they must be going here, not far off a minute, 100 meter minute pace, because they're going so fast, going to this finish, and stretching that lead arm out in front, streamlined the whole time. There's always that long body line in the water, tip to toe, got that long line in the water there. And you can see it there as well with Florian. Again, he just broke the world record for 1500 meters out in Abu Dhabi. Both stretching it out. So this is the style of stroke we're going to look at. It's trying to keep one hand in front as you go to breathe. And what happens here is you're not putting any pressure on your shoulder or arm here. What you're doing is you're rolling from that arm outstretched, you're rolling with your hips, your shoulders, and your head. It's all pivoting around that point. So you're not putting any pressure. You're rolling around, you're getting that breath. And then after you've had your breath, you can then get that full pull through with that hand. Right close to the surface, you can grab that water, high elbow, and push it behind you. So one more time, because it's so good to see, and then we'll move on. I'll just do a little demo myself in the pool, which will not be as good, but maybe a little bit clearer. Just watch these guys coming swimming side by side, to the best long distance swimmers in the world. You can see the sighting as well. Very quick glance up, looking at each other as they go. Brilliant. Pretty impressive to see, isn't it? So in the endless pool here, I'm going to try and replicate that a little bit. And that style of stroke is something which I do try and coach to my swimmers. A lot of triathletes, a lot of long distance swimmers who are trying to go from just being, a pool swimmer to becoming a real long distance swimmer if they're building up for the channel. And it's quite complicated for people because they watch different YouTube channels and they hear different sorts of advice. But really what I do is, I spend a lot of my time traveling around the world with these elite swimmers, and I see how they swim. So those guys are doing big miles every week, and they're trying to stay injury free, be as efficient as possible, and get that long distance swimmer's stroke, which is, as you saw from the video, it's a real sort of catch up style stroke where you're really leaving one arm out in front. So you're pushing out in front with that arm. The other arm is coming around. You're pushing with your hips, streamlining, and then this arm is coming through. This front quadrant is what I talk about to my swimmers. You're trying to keep something out in front of you, so you really get that nice long stroke. Now that is obviously very specific for long distance swimmers. If you're a sprinter, 100-meter style swimmer, you're not going to be doing that stroke, but as you can see there from Florian and Ferry, that is a stroke which they use in their long distance swims. So let's have a little bit of a look at some footage of me swimming. I'm obviously nowhere near those guys, but I guess this is a good chance to see kind of a, an ordinary person swimming and looking at the stroke and seeing how you can try and incorporate that into your own swim style. Now you can come and find me here at Ullswater Swim Place. I'm based in the Lake District in the UK. So if you want to come for a coaching session, you can check out the website. Okay, so let's have a look at how I get on. Okay, so just have a look at my own stroke here. Now it's not going to be as good as what we've just seen, but you can see the principle of what we're looking at. My right hand there going in and pushing that hand out in front as I roll the hips. This is important, but when I'm not breathing, you're still rotating the hips to stretch that hand out in front. It's not a flat stroke, really rotating around. And as I go to breathe, hand out in front. Again, I'm rolling to the side, so I'm not putting pressure on the shoulder to breathe. Hips, shoulder, my head looking right to the side here, not coming up at all. And get that breath in. So I'm doing a fairly steady pace here for me, just doing a nice sort of 130 pace in the water. But as you can see, it's about that arms pushing out in front, really pushing those hands out in front. My hand does tend to just creep slightly over to the left-hand side. But still, what I'm focusing on is having that long outstretched arm as I roll to breathe and really try not to let that arm drop at all, so I can get a simple roll to the side. Right through full speed. So long, really pushing that water behind me each stroke and trying to have that changeover point out in front. So let's have a look in the water, see what's going on there. Okay, here we go with the underwater shots. And so stretched out. So this is what I try and look for from the swimmers. It's tip to toe. You're trying to be streamlined. There are some techniques where that arm is much lower in the water. I've got to be honest, I just don't think it's a fast stroke. This is what I want to see, is a nice streamlined approach to the water is really flowing around you. And grabbing the water, high elbow, and this is you can see the changeover. So when we talk about a front quadrant, we're talking about this area out in front of you here. And what I want to see is a hand out in front the whole time. So as this arm is starting to pull, the other hand is just coming in. Then that right hand is stretching out as the left hand pulls through. So as my hips rotate, it really helps driving this hand back. Nice long pull all the way to my shorts. And now I'm stretched out, tip to toe, water flowing around me. So we've gone for the breath. Now this is the bit which I want to look at here. So change over, out in front. Now I'm rolling to breathe. Again, there's no pressure on this hands or shoulder. It really is rolling with the hips, the shoulder and the head. That's how you're getting that breath. The head is close to your shoulder as well. There's no sort of separation there. Makes for just a nice breath to the side, then a catch in the water. So I've got my breath, my head's coming down, the hand's starting to pull, the changeover's out in front of me. Just here I've got the high elbow, grabbing that water. Could be a little bit further out. Normally I like to sort of have my arm just a little bit further out to the side there, but really the timing here, stretching out in front. And then you can see just grabbing the water, then the elbow takes over, get that high elbow pulled through. Going through, so let's go just normal speed. Just try and stretch out the whole time. Make you a nice steady stroke in that nice little roll for that breath. So let's have a look at the side of that breathing from the side. Side view of my stroke. And as we're going through, what we're looking at here is, okay, I'm getting the breath. So a few things to look at here. The arm is stretched out just below the surface of the water, probably about sort of 4 inches below the water. So it's nice and straight out in front. I'm rolling to the side. The tip of my head here, the crown of my head is still in the water. And you can really see the bow wave created, and I'm breathing. There's my little mouth, breathing inside of that bow wave. One goggle in the water. And there's the recovery coming through. I mean, it's another video, but the recovery side of things here, high elbow, relaxed arm, which really helps what's going on under the water and through. So let's just play that. So just trying to, you know, as your hand enters the water, fingertips first, you're pushing the hand out in front, that hand isn't dropping down. Breathing to the side with that hand stretched out, and then the changeover, just the head comes down. That's where you're getting the changeover. So that's what we're looking at with those elites. A similar sort of stroke to that, where they're really pushing out in front. Okay, so as I explained there, my stroke is nowhere near as strong and as streamlined as the elite swimmers, but I am trying to incorporate their stroke into what I do, and also when I coach people, as I mentioned, I'm trying to incorporate that long, almost catch-up style stroke. It's the way I've swum for years and years, but something I've just sort of been developing while watching a lot of the elite swimmers when they're doing their swim. So I hope you found this useful. Remember, there's not just one style or type of stroke that's going to be right for you. You know, you've got to find your own mobility, you know, sort of how often you swim, your strength, all those factors come into play when you're deciding on what stroke is best for you. What I would say is there are some good practices that you can look at and try and sort of incorporate that into your swimming. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have got hundreds and hundreds of videos on open water swimming and swim coaching. Check those out. So please like this video, it really helps out a lot. And subscribe, and thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you here at Ultimate Swim Place sometime. Okay, take care.